As a first disclaimer, an API is an application programming interface. Its purpose is to ask for information and deliver them. It's a middle application that lets different instances communicate with each other. If you search for more information, you will meet again the metaphor of the waiter. Indeed, as a waiter, an application will wait for the customer to ask for information, then give this information to the central service, the kitchen, and give you back your order. Depending on the type of customer, the API should not be built the same and should not have the same specificities. In this video, we will talk about the type of customers, how to understand them, and the type of APIs, how to choose the one you need and understand why you made that choice. Okay, so let's describe different type of customers. But first of all, let's talk about what is a type of customer, how to define what's a customer or not. As said in the enterprise application integration, there is 3 different actors in the business terms. There is the A for application, the B for business, and the C for customers. So the customer will be as used in the common use, so you and me, normal, just clients that will be buying something for on their own use. Businesses will be so any activity, commercial, marketing activity. So now that we have defined different type of customers, we can talk about different type of web APIs. So how can we define the type of API? So the same question as before. A type, in our case, will be defined by the access level of the API. So how can someone access to the API? Someone that is completely external or in the business, or will be the person around, how the application interact with the others, and the type of business for which it was created. So we will talk about open APIs, named as public APIs, because every developer can have access to the API. So that means that the API is generally open source or available for everyone on an open website. But of course, these public APIs are not totally public, because yes, they're public to access, but that doesn't mean everybody can have access to every information. Of course, the access are restricted by the owner of the APIs, and the developer can ask for some information and after use it, but cannot have access to the internal system information, only the information that the APIs allow him to have, and that's all. After we have the internal APIs, so that is known for the private APIs. So this is the 2 big type of APIs. So in the opposite, internal APIs are not accessible from any external user. Its interaction is limited to the owner system because its aim is to help the internal development team. So that also means that the access to the API requires a system of authentication and requires a password and a username, and that you already had been registered in their system. So then we have partners APIs. So this is a type that is a compromise. So it's between the open APIs and the internal APIs. It's a middle type. It's a half time. It's half open, half private. It's defined as it and used as it. So this is an open API, but that requires a specific validation to access it. But so, what's the real difference? Because it seems to be an internal API, so why it's different from the internal API? Because it's a type of API that requires generally a free and easy authentication, as the authentication on Facebook. And this is a half-open API because this authentication is free, and this type of API is clearly the most used in terms of quantity. It's the APIs type that just have the most quantity of user, and this number is incredibly increasing. So in this application we have some examples like Facebook or Instagram that ask for this authentication. Now you have an account on their websites to use their APIs, but it's still an open APIs that can be used by any developer. So it's an open API, but they have a certain authentication. So it's not everybody, it's some categorization of people with some simple characteristics and requirements. Next, we will talk about composite APIs. But before introducing this concept, I should first introduce the API orchestration. As defined in this website, is the act of integrating two or more applications into a single unified offering. In a microservice architecture, the API orchestration is a very useful tool for automating processes and allowing a more fluid user experience. It's really important, for example, when you want to have multiple APIs work together to create one single application that will let you sell the original application with all the multiple functionalities, and each of the functionalities named as microservices that are each of an API, and you can just sell them to another company and make profit from the microservices and from the global product. So the composite APIs is literally the API that will combine all this data, the API that is the central part of the API orchestration. So this composite API will combine services APIs, like in a microservice architecture, so it will be the central elements, but also for multiple datas. So the composite APIs is clearly a communication APIs that will let different instances communicate with each other and take the composite APIs for their central communication base.